Good morning, everybody. We have Effie today. Hi, Effie. Good to
Hello,
see
nice
you.
to see you. Hi.
Apologize for our YouTube audience for our technical difficulties this morning. We had a little bit of a connection issue, but we're happy to be here today. And we want to thank you guys for coming and joining us in the sacred energy of Circle this morning. And today you're going to be able to watch our evidential mediums as they connect with people who have crossed over to the other side and deliver messages from those people. And our hope is that by watching our mediums at work, you will come to understand that the loved ones that you may have lost are, in fact, still with you. So, can you please join us as we open with a prayer? Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Please help us to open all of our senses, physical and spiritual, so that we can receive your messages without interference from our own minds. We humbly ask that you make the circle an uplifting and joyous experience for everyone in attendance. Please ask the spirits who recognize the voices in this room to join us this morning so that we will know that they watch over us, love us, and protect us still. And please allow us to deliver the information presented by Spirit with grace and compassion, in complete trust and respect of your infinite wisdom. Amen. All right. And since it's just you and me today, Effie, I think we could go, what do you think, like 12 minutes, something like that?
Sure.
I'm not even going to
Yeah.
bother setting up a clock. So, whenever you get a link, just hop on in there. Okay.
Yeah. I do have your hmm, do have your grandmother's stepping forward, Carol. She would have been someone that would have uh l- I do know actually some about you. So I do know this is the on the Irish side, the lady that's coming in, and I do there is a sense of Gaelic or it's Celtic. When she's here, she speaks another language. And she also, I just understand, really, really loved and embraced her life. There's with your grandmother, the number of 81, so there could be 1981 or 81 years old of a significance of, and I do want to say 81, 82 of a passing. Would you understand this, Carol?
I think that's about right. Yeah.
Hmm. 80, sorry, 81 or 82 about she passed.
Hmm.
And would also there be, and actually I should ask, there's also German within your family descendants, Carol?
Yeah.
Wow. And this is not, this is within your, wow, I didn't know that. Your grandfather's side, your dad's side, that is stepping
My
forward.
dad's side, correct. Yeah.
Right, nice. And with your grandmother and passing of the 81, she would have had a good life. I want to say we know that she would have had tough times, but she would have persevered. And I do feel there were times that she had to walk alone and had her own, but her faith kept her going. Your grandmother also of 81 would have been almost like the person that kept the family together. People would have come to her, and I want to say there would have been a close relationship with your mother and your grandmother. And I know that your mother is stepping forward. Would you understand this?
Yeah.
The year of also 1957, I feel like this is someone's birth year of someone being born. Would you
Yep.
understand this?
I
And would
do.
you, and do I dare say, and would you
You pulled
understand
that one
that?
out of the air, Effie. That was great.
Yeah. And like, I don't say, I don't want to say the number of 19 or 18 of a month. Um, 19 or 18. No, no. I'd
Uh,
see, I go in between 11 and 12, which is so common, but there is another birthday of 19, 18 of a
Actually,
month,
it's
which
12.
it is.
It's 12.
See, she's Louise and Pisces, March. I don't know. Don't ask. Don't ask.
Okay. Yeah, and
Hmm.
March is important too. Yeah.
And so, but you as a little girl would have really loved what we're doing right now, but not to this extent. You would have been into the mysticism of, and remember going back into our friends' times of playing that game that nobody liked to play, or some did, where we want to move it around. What's
Oh
it
yeah.
called?
Yeah.
The
Ouija.
the Ouija.
Ouija
You would have
board.
played the Ouija board, but you've also had experiences of seeing what was that? What was that? There was something I felt. So there were energies in your life as a child that you would have sensed there's more to life than this. There are spirits, but you weren't fully afraid of them, but you weren't fully embracing them yet because it wasn't time. And
Correct.
your and as your grandmother is here, your mother steps also forward. And after she passed, there would have been a moment you saw her, your mom. I want to say she came to you and you would have fully seen her, and it would have been like in the evening. Would you understand this, Carol?
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that moment, you would have reached out to her, but you couldn't reach out to her because of the wall that was in between us. And you couldn't fully touch her, but you know that she was there, and you know that she was coming to give you guidance, that to step into your abilities. There was a moment also in your time that you felt like you were going crazy in what is happening with all of this empathic abilities that I have. Why can't I just be like everybody else? And she was here to encourage you to move into your place of freedom of expression and to and I know there was also afterwards you started writing things down because your dreams were becoming vivid around you. So would all this make sense to you, Carol?
Not the part about the dreams, but seeing my mother, yes.
Okay, if not the dreams, then the automatic writing, you would have started to really fully embrace into the infinity of life after life and symbols you would have started to see around you, really paying attention to them.
I started to pay attention to symbols, yes.
And as a child, you also would have written the stars, not understanding why you always got to write the stars on a piece of paper. Why the
Yeah,
stars and daydreaming and going out. And so it always was there, Carol, in within you, your mom says. And this relationship also with your mom was super close. And but she needed to have things a certain way. Sorry, your mom stepped forward. The name of also Mary Ellen or Ellen and Mary. So there was a middle name of Mary or Ellen.
there is a Mary not in the family.
Dear Lord, I didn't sense the bridging of the third
Okay.
spirit. Um, there's your mom would have had a way of when she cleaned, she would have wanted to do her own way of cleaning. She didn't fully like things. So if there are sparkly glasses, sparkly dishes, this is the way how to do it right. So I feel like there's a sense of order
Oh
within
yeah,
your mom
yeah.
and tidiness, but it's not OCD level. This is how it's the right way, and even how we iron
The
our
right way
clothes
is important. Yeah,
the right
absolutely.
way. And how do we get the coffee stains out? Do we have to do it like this? And how do we make it super clean? No, your mom would have taken care of your dad, and I want to say within the household doing the housework, but she liked to do this. It wasn't because she wanted to do this. It
Yeah,
was a sense of order within her home, and that's how also she led her life of order,
yeah,
responsibility, of grace, and just a sense of nobility with your mom. And people would, I respect this, and people would have respected your mom. You know, I want to make sure your mom was the teacher in the family, Carol.
no,
Oh, oh, thank you.
not mom,
Then,
not mom.
okay, leave that. Your grandma, the teacher between your grandmother and your mom, the
It was my
teacher.
grandmother.
The responsibility of the house would have flowed from your grandmother to your mother.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
That's there. And the learning again, I know about you would have been a lifelong thing that they both had, and also would have continued this beautiful learning of life, learning of the roots, learning of geography, also of traveling with them. Now, also Holland comes in, so I do feel like there's Holland descendants
I
in your roots.
I don't know.
No, thank you. If not the Holland, would you understand someone took a trip to Holland? I like the shoes. I like the Belgium within Holland, the country.
The Dutch shoes have a different meaning.
Mm, okay, thanks. And with all of this, because I'm just making sure with my time, there's all these spirits. Your mom and your grandmother just coming in. You have a way of you needing to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And when you haven't want to put the pieces of the puzzle together with your life, that's also how you are. You got to go step by step, very thorough, making sure you don't miss anything, making sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted at the top. And you look at you look at the how the puzzle is going, and that's also how your life, you're making sure you don't miss any pieces before you move on to the next step, that all the loops are closed. So as we move even forward, you don't have to go backwards and make sure, shoot, I forgot that piece. This is how you run your life. This is how I feel you are in your life.
Yes.
And it sometimes drives you crazy, but it works for you. And this is something that's been passed down for your mom. Now, your mom also would have been the kind of lady where we don't want to waste any towels and reduce, reuse. She would have had the tea towels everywhere and would have just kept using the same cloth until we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
use it anymore, right? And also how she cleans it and keeps that tidiness. When you walk into the kitchen, you know that you have to put things back a certain way because she's going to tell you that this is how it is. Do you remember on the little sinks that she had where you put the little d- uh, scrub for your dishes? You put this little scrub, how we scrub the dishes. She would have had one there, like right by it. And it comes to me in the form of either it was green or yellow. You know how we put that little, how we wash our dishes with soap
Um,
and
yeah, the sinks are actually important.
yeah,
Okay, but I don't remember the scrubber.
but she
Okay.
would have scrubbed it like, clean.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Clean to the T, and it would have been the same sink, it's the same sink. No, the
Absolutely.
the the same sink, the same one, and it looks good. And clean products like vinegar, she would have not liked to use any other products outside unless she had to. She had a way of where everything she used. Remember my big fat Greek wedding, Windex was everything.
Yeah.
This was your mom. She had this fixes everything. She's now your mom also would have loved like the vinegar and the water of
Yep.
how to clean things and
Hmm.
should have taken that into the stains. Like this is incredible woman of communication. And
Oh, yeah.
with
Hmm.
all of this way, and when she comes in, you have also adapted and adopted her lifestyle, but tweaked it to your own. And it drives your husband crazy sometimes, have how you have the way you like your things. And he does it too. Just to make things happy, and he actually asks your permission sometimes. Is this okay? Is this okay? Would you understand this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And within the door, I want to say, you remember those long things that we want to put our shoes in behind, like the
Uh-huh.
little top. I feel like there's this way also, like this is again the orderly way of things, how to make life easier for us.
Hmm.
And your
Right.
life, how to make it easier, and how it is right now. You're it just in the planning stages of a pursuit where you're thinking outside the box, but you're also thinking not locally, but within, not traveling abroad, but I want to say you're reaching out to other places within the United States
I
of
am.
ideas, of
Yep.
innovations, and
Hmm.
beginning to reach out. But it's not within a plane. I feel like I could take a train ride there if I had to visit you.
Yep.
I'm not too far away, and there
Mhm.
is a sisterhood of women that you want to collaborate with that's here and put these mysticism of ideas together. And how do we collaborate? Now, this is very, 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 very much she supports you in this. And this is a part of the puzzle right now of the pieces that are going to start to fall into place for you, but you're going to go through this slowly. And this puzzle that's here, you're on the outer edges of Carol of the puzzle, and it's starting to form into the middle. And you're seeing this. You're seeing this, and it's like a circle of balls that you're constantly juggling ideas at once. And you've always been like that as a child. You've always
Hmm.
been like that. The way that your mother comes into you in the evening when you saw her that one time, do you understand that she sat down on a chair? It felt like there was a place where I wanted to sit down, but okay, that if not sure, then she was talking to you, and it was almost like mental telepathy. I could understand what she's saying, and it was the love that comes in, the strength that she has, the logic, the realist, this woman. Put your dreams to reality, follow your passion, follow your pursuits. And she says, and those ideas do come to you. So when you feel them and being infused in your mind, start writing them down on a piece of paper. Don't second guess it. Don't second guess it. And before I leave, there is a person that's coming in that would have like an A and an I like in their name. Uh,
Yes.
Ian or Ian or just an A and an I. And I feel like Naven,
A
I
and
just want
I.
to leave that Naven or Naven. What is the name?
Annie.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I want to thank Annie also for being here. I feel like this is where the two spirits.
This is awesome. Can I ask you what Annie's got to say? Will you see if she
Sure,
has
we got
anything
the
to say?
time. Annie
Yeah.
says you're juggling too many balls at once right now in your life. You're juggling
Okay.
constantly. You don't stop with the juggling, and the juggling comes with a lot of colors, which you're thinking, I know, creatively. And
Hmm.
thinking creatively takes me also to a board game where you have many pieces on the puzzle and you're putting them all together like you know how a ship, how we're creating a base of a ship zone, and here's all the ships on the side, and here is where the anchor is. You're having all these pieces, she says, on the outside, and she says to go slow and think, write things down, write a list, but make it like that, like a map. And I just see, because the ships are so relevant right now, it's not planes, it's not walking, the car rides. But if it gets too far, it's the trains that can take us there. And yeah, even the ships, actually, I want to say, if you can want to take a ship like across, you know, to someone's, it's not across the ocean. It's almost like across, yeah, it's almost like a ship. I have ships coming in of different people, different types of modalities, different types of experiences. And pulling it all together. And in the middle, there is a volcano. And I feel like you're going to be putting the fire stick in that volcano. It's going to erupt and the lava. So it's coming together. That's how your mind works. It's coming together. She's letting me know that I feel like you are the person that's always doing the things in the family, always the one organizing, always the ones people are coming to. But you've got to get some help also, like around you, not always the one that's pulling the collaborator. Annie's also suggesting to go back to your roots of the teacher within you and start to apply that, she says, to what you are doing today. Be the teacher within you. Start to teach yourself what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And not to be afraid to make those decisions, because this is going to come in handy. Uh, one of the other final things she starts to really sense into this is uh, your feet are getting cold. No, your feet are cold. No, no, no. Not a sock. Looking to them for the sky out there for answers, asking them and seeking advice, the guidance. I'm just looking up, and I want to say this decision that you're at, your partner is making, not fully giving you the support, not fully giving you the answers. And this is a good thing because you've got to make this decision on your own. This decision is moving next forward, the step in your life of your spirituality, of the next stages. Where is it going, and where I should be, which route I should be taking, left, right, center, and or up or down. And she says there is a star here, there is a sun, and as it becomes more golden and golden brown, she wants you to start to apply more modalities into your spirituality. It's not just the mediumship. To do much more than that, to start take center stage and to start to talk about it and to start to connect with others and start to become the musician in the box of that tarot card at the end, and to pull the hands together and get all the women to start to really be the conduits together. And how do we make this work? How do we connect locally as a community, but within still branches of reach? And how do we express our services to others out there, whatever way it can be, whether it's tea leaf reading, whether it's tarot, whether it's mediumship, whether it's expressive writing, whether it's automatic writing, whether it's healing, whether it's plant, all above, all and above, all and above.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Effie, that was fabulous. And boy, you hit the nail on the head there with that one. But I want to give you a little bit of feedback. Okay. So for the benefit of our YouTube audience, Effie actually brought in three different spirits there. They're all related. One was grandmother. Okay. One is mother. Okay. Who is grandma's daughter. And then Annie is grandma's granddaughter, my cousin, who actually just crossed over last week. Okay. And
Wow.
and that's why I wanted to hear from her. So I appreciate you talking with her. But with respects to specific feedback, just some funny information for our YouTube audience. And 1957 was when I was born, and Effie pulled that year out, which is really funny. Okay. My mother had, both my mother and my grandmother had the right way of cleaning, specifically because my grandparents
Oh my
owned
goodness.
a tourist hotel. Okay. And literally, they were so specific about the way they cleaned because they had to be very efficient about it. And the one thing that I will carry with me for the rest of my days is, quote, the right way to hang toilet paper. Okay. Which, for in case you don't know, it's the paper going out, not the paper against the wall. All right. And from a hotelier's perspective, that is because the guests use less toilet paper when you hang it that way rather than putting it this way, because you inadvertently pull off more on the roll. Um, Now, the other statement that was interesting was the trip with the Sisterhood of Women. All right. And this was a funny statement because it was literally talking about this past weekend. And what I'm thinking about doing is actually organizing a bus trip to Lilydale and just getting a bunch of people together, and we all travel together on the bus to Lilydale, which, for the benefit of our YouTube audience, is a spiritual community in New York that is comprised of psychics and mediums. It's a fascinating spiritual place. If you ever want to do a road trip, highly recommend that you do it. It is about 45 minutes east of Buffalo. Okay, so very easy to get to. But I wanted to put this bus trip together, and I thought, well, this would be so interesting because on the ride, we could have like all the mediums on the bus get up and give messages and, things like this. And the tarot card readers could pull cards for people and this kind of thing. So I thought that was great. And then that message ties in with what Annie says about being the teacher, because this is, in some respects, what we try to do on this channel is just kind of teach you to not be afraid of these things that are happening to you, and you know and hopefully get you to embrace those feelings. And with that, I want to segue, Effie, into the statement that you made, okay, about my mother, because I would like you to talk about this with my mother appearing to me. And I'll tell my YouTube audience that that happened in the middle of the night. I woke up, okay, from a dream that felt very real to me. And when I opened my eyes, there was my mother standing at the end of my bed. Okay. And I just looked at her. It's hard to talk about without crying, but I started to cry because there she was. Okay. And so, Effie, can you speak to our YouTube audience about things like that that can happen to you as you become more sensitive?
Yeah, I knew she was right there because of my own personal experiences. So they use what we know, what's happened to us, to try to convey the message, the evidence, what's happened to Carol. And there is when you have experiences like that, that you are not even a medium, or you may not be a medium, but you don't have any logic or explanation behind it. But you know this is so real, and we have all felt this, that I know this happened, but this is not something that we talk is in the dictionary or have learned in school or that I've seen other people talk about, but that did happen. And it was such a mystical experience for you that there is no explanation. And people like this will have these experiences all the time, will carry this forever, and they'll never forget it. Everywhere they go, be 40 years later. And I remember 1962 on February 11th at 2:22, I was walking, and then I swear to, I saw a person walking the street that looked like a sheer it looked like a ghost to them, but it wasn't. And they will never, because it's so out of the ordinary. It wasn't a human being, but it was something that was different. When I saw your mom approach you as in the bedroom, and it was so dark, It was this love that she came to you. And because we become so fine-tuned as mediums that we start to shed our overlays of our exteriors and we start to work within our hearts. And as we start to move into our heart and that heart center space, and we start to heal, if we need to heal, the love that comes out starts the sensitivity also within us, starting to feel things in the world, starting to smell the grass, that it's really that beautiful mossy smell, or really enjoy the sun in our eyes, or really smell the food in a different way. That's our sensitivity really blossoming. Your
Mhm.
mom, too, you felt and sensed her love that
Mhm.
came to you that evening. And it was so profound that you will never forget this, Carol, until the day that you cross over. You will never forget. And even to this very day, as you talk about it, I can feel the love that comes from your mom because it was almost like an angel appeared in front of you.
Mhm.
And you were going, I so need this at this time in my life of healing. That's
And you know, you're bringing up such an interesting point, though, about, people just becoming more receptive to these ideas. And the one thing that I want to say to our YouTube audience is I believe that everybody is a medium, and because we're all spirits. And the only difference between Effie and I and you out there in YouTube land is that Effie and I trust what we see more than you do. And if you think about it, all of your life, it's been beat into you to disregard your intuition. Okay, like, when you were little, you probably met someone, when you were 4 years old, who you took an instant dislike to. And you just, like, you said to your mother, I don't like that person. And your mother said to you, well, shut up and be nice. And there you go. Okay. And then you find out after the fact that the person that you didn't like, okay, you took an instant dislike to, turned out to be a creep. And you were right. Okay. But what happened? Your mother beat that out of you. Okay. And that's what happens in your childhood. Okay. You're told over and over again, you know, it's your imagination. It's your imagination. Okay.
Mhm.
And Effie and I have had to work so hard to get
Develop.
past that and
Mhm.
say, you know what, that is not my imagination. And I see that. Okay. It was like I saw my mother standing at the edge of my bed. Effie saw that spirit walking down the street. Okay.
It
And
wasn't a
neither of us are
body.
doing,
It
yeah.
wasn't a body like us. It was like a sheer glow. You know that this is not a human. This
Mhm,
is
yeah.
something that's
Okay.
not of this earth. Yeah.
Okay. And see, this is the difference between us and you is that we trust what we see. And and when you develop that level of trust, just those little subtle messages that you receive from your folks on the other side, like, maybe you get like a little coin, okay, or something like this, okay, that suddenly turns up, or your wind chimes suddenly start to tinkle, but there's no wind, things like this. All right, that's when you start to trust that
Mhm.
information. So,
Oh,
so,
beautiful.
well, that was great,
Oh,
Effie. Thank you for
thank
that.
you
Oh,
so much, Carol.
my goodness. All right, let me see if I can grab a spirit for you. Ah, hmm. You got a bunch of people all lined up here. So let's see. All right. I have a gentleman stepping in here, and the gentleman feels to me to be like he is um, older than you, and not direct family. He's kind of like off to the side, so not of your lineage. And I feel like uh, this guy right off the bat wants to talk about the rocket launch, okay, with the
This
rocket
week.
that's going to the moon. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
Artemis too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you understand somebody who is interested in this kind of stuff on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me lean more into him. And when I lean more into this guy, this guy's brain is like really, really fast. I'm having trouble keeping up with him. Um, because his brain works like a computer. Like, have you seen those like graphics of how computer works with data going like
Yes.
this? Okay,
Yeah.
this is the way that his brain works. And so while he's admiring this, rocket launch to the moon, he's also on a pragmatic level trying to invest in the company. Okay, so it's like money is important. Finances and money are important to him because he wants to make an investment in the company. Okay. Would that make sense to you? The finances and money being
I
important to you.
understand people on the other side that have a mind like that and in the finance industry.
Okay. All right. Then let's lean into him a bit more. I just heard an interesting word, and that is jealousy. Now, would you know a guy on the other side who fit all this and who is jealous?
I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. I want to see where that goes because I'm nebby. So let's see. And when he says the word jealous, um he means it in kind of like a joking fashion. Okay. Because what I'm picking up with this man is an extreme competitive streak. He was in it to win it. Okay. And um it's all
Kind
about
of.
numbers with him. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So making the numbers, this kind of thing.
Yes.
All right. Uh, and his jealousy in some respects relates to you. Okay. And like he actually looked at you as being a competitor. Would you understand this?
I'm not sure. I know someone that was very competitive on the other
Okay. All
side
right.
with
So,
yeah.
so it's, yeah, it's like this competitive, ruthless streak. And that, but then he's
Yes.
talking. And when I say he's looking at you as being a competitor, he is saying that with the utmost of praise. All right. And I think that's interesting because I also get the feeling that this man um, did not hold a lot of women in as high regard as he did you. That makes sense to you?
Interesting. Keep going.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I may be telling Effie something that she doesn't know, but this guy, um, it's kind of funny. Um, so there's this manly man side to him, and I feel like he, in general, did not regard women as being adequate foes, for lack of a better term. Okay, that they weren't competition for him. Okay, but then he pulls Effie out of this bunch of women and says, "Accept her." So he is treating her differently than he would any other woman. Okay, and acknowledging specifically her brains and talent. And see where he's talking about you rooting out the truth, rooting out the truth. That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, rooting out the truth. Um, says he's glad you were on his side. Okay. And this kind of goes back to, just the fact that he's pulling you out and he's treating you differently than he would any other woman. You would understand this man to have a wee bit of a snobbish side to him.
I don't remember that.
Okay, all right. I want to lean into this because it's starting to come to the surface now. And this is aside from the competitiveness, um, but it's I feel like he liked, shall we say, the trappings of wealth, okay, and liked to dress well, like to have good cars, these kind of things, okay. And so when I say snobby, that's kind of what I'm referring to there.
Oh,
Is
got it.
that
Yeah.
okay? All right. It's like an image that he is trying to project of success.
Yes, I can take
Okay.
that.
All right. Okay. Now we are going down a really weird road here because he's done a 180 on me. And, for the benefit of our YouTube audience, when they switch the content about what they're talking about, it can kind of knock you for a loop. But all of a sudden, he's talking about the movie Citizen Kane. Okay. Um, and you're familiar with Citizen Kane?
No, no.
No? Okay. All right. That famous movie, one of the best movies ever produced in Hollywood by Orson Welles. And it's, if I understand this correctly, the story of William Randolph Hearst, okay, who acquired like all these, uh, well, he was a mega uh, media baron was what he was. Okay,
Wow,
so
okay.
he a newspaper magnate. Okay, and an extremely wealthy man. He built a castle, this kind of thing. Okay, um, but the end of the movie is um, not all that happy. But I don't think that's the issue. Okay, the end of the movie is actually a mystery of sorts. Okay, and I think this is more what he's referring to because at the end of the movie, they talk about Rosebud, and
Mm,
like that doesn't fit, okay, with the rest of the movie, but he's talking about Rosebud, and Rosebud was his sled from childhood, okay.
wow, okay.
So it's yeah, and I don't know why Spirit is going down this weird road showing me Citizen Kane. Um, unless he is trying to make an analogy to his own life where he's got all this success built up. And then when I'm boiled down to it, what was important was his childhood sled. Would you know?
Wow. The simple things, back to the simple things in life.
Back to the simple things in life, correct? Yeah, the very, very simple things in life. Okay. Uh, let's see what he wants to. Now he's got his intellectual hat on. Okay. And he's standing up in front of a an audience at a
Mm-hmm.
dais with a microphone. All right, and he's giving a lecture. Let's see what this is on. Well, this is really strange. So he's actually speaking to everybody here, not just you, but to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
who watches this video. This is intended to be a broadcast message. And what he's talking about here is an instruction to have no fear. Have no fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is really going down strange road. Have no fear. But then he jokes and he says, have no fear, we are here.
No, it's
Got a
that's
sense of
pretty. Oh, well,
humor.
have no fear. We are here.
Have no fear, we are here.
I understand that.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just the presentation on that statement that is so odd because he's standing in front of this audience at a podium, and have no fear, we are here. But I want to say that the message is benevolent, okay, and kind, and kind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
You know, so I think I'm going to leave that there and see if that made any sense to you.
Yeah, I'm just writing this all down. I'm finishing. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. There is some couple of engineers, actuaries, financial, there's quite a few on the other side. I was trying to pinpoint it down. There was one specific person that was very not jealous within himself because he was very much a win streak, making sure that he could beat his record, whether it was physically active or mentally active or emotionally active. And that is who I used to be, actually, in life. That was
Okay.
me
All
to a
right. That's
certain
why he's
point
jealous
in
of you.
life.
Let's see.
Yeah, and even though like we when we met, he could see, he goes, "There's lots here." He goes, "I could see you're almost at par. I would not want you to be a male." Because we and those would be the comments, and I'd be going, "Oh, really? Okay, okay." So
Jeez.
so it was and it was good that I could banter and par with him at his level because he wasn't used to someone being at my age and his age that fit, that emotionally like him and resilient and disciplined like him all at once. So
Wow.
it was a nice way for us to compete with each other respectfully,
Hmm.
but also banter. How much did you row? And I did 120, and I'd show him, oh, I went under, I did 118. So I beat you today. So it was, we loved it. I loved it. So the high regard to me, yes, because we respected, but at the end of the day, we valued each other's opinions.
Oh,
So when
yes.
we wanted, I would talk to him, he would talk to me. He wouldn't ask a second opinion. I wouldn't ask a second opinion. I knew that if he was giving me this answer, this was 110% correct. And it was vice versa. He never had to go around to ask second or third opinions, and neither did I. Was coming from him. Um, the jealousy, I can see it, rooting out the truth. So I'm a Gnostics, Gnoistic, so seeker of truth. So I'm always looking for the truth, and there's been as a more sensitive. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning. The more when I see people on TV, whether they're talking politics or leaders, I see their words, but I see behind the words, and I don't see the truth that's coming out. I think they're just playing a role that they have to play, and there's a
Mhm.
lot more behind
Oh, yeah.
motive behind it that's not real. So I stopped watching the news. I've stopped watching people being what's happening around the world just because it's not the truth. This is not real. And yeah, trappings of wealth. And so he did, he was someone that dressed well, acted the part. His imagery was important. But as he got older and older, it began to subside. It was more of the truth being real. And I remember having those conversations with him. It's nice to have all this experience now behind us because now we're like little wisdom, we call each other yogis in the company, little yogis, they come to us, but we don't need to impress anymore. We don't have to have the watches on. They know they could just come to Effie and so, that you're going to get a lot of good counsel and experience, answers. Um, so Citizen Kane, the rose bush. So at the end of the day, it is about the simple things in life. And that is what I've been sharing and sharing and sharing. And I do go on the podium. I do speak. I do a lot of what I do. The microphone is something that I was not used to because I didn't want to sound stupid in front of an audience. And how are they going to look at me? Am I going to say the right words? Am I going to start to tremble inside? So I had to work through a lot of those. And again, comes from what happened. Why do I tremble? Why do I get those into that moment? So the more vulnerable I became, the more real it sounded to people and the more drawn they were, I started to notice. But to get to that took a lot of healing work. And I believe his message here was let's go back to the simplicity of life. People will see you for who you really are when you are real, when you speak the truth. It'll come out that way and you will feel it. People will sense it because we all have a BS detector inside us. And that's to everybody too, the message instruction to have no fear. And even the messages this week, and very much into symbols, it's been taking like the messages I've been hearing everywhere is take a leap of faith
Mhm.
everywhere. Even this morning's cards, um, take a leap of faith. The decision choice where you're at right now in your life, have no fear. And that is even something last night where fear begins to come and I go, nope, this is not happen. There's no fear here. Remove the fear. Take a leap of it. Just jump quantum leap.
Wow. 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 Okay. So he's a big cheerleader for you then.
Oh, he would be.
That's great.
He'd be impressed with both of us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I
Yeah. And
loved his message.
I worked with him. And
Okay.
that's how he became at the end. It was very dynamics of us, our persuasion, how we spoke. People would say, "Oh, you two, I'm glad you're here. I'm
Okay.
glad you're here. Like you're like sounding baseboards."
Did he ever indicate to you that he had an interest in any of this?
No, I was not a medium then.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought his message was so strange, unless I wonder if he was referring to you. Have no fear, we are here. It's like,
Yeah, I
what?
have no fear. And then even the messaging, our guides, our counsel, our symbols, all of these messages that keep pulling up, have no fear. We are guiding you into the right steps. Just take a leap of faith.
So,
Oh,
okay.
even this morning, even right before we got on here,
Yeah, yeah,
it was there.
absolutely.
And he would
Huh.
be someone that would just have no fear. He had no fear.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
He
Wow.
just did it. Yeah. Wow, that's good. I needed to hear from him. He doesn't come
Wow.
in too often.
Wow. Okay. Well, then that makes me happy. And I was able to bring him in, and I thank you for bringing in my whole family. I needed to hear from them, and I'm really glad to hear my cousin Annie's okay.
She's
She was,
okay, yes.
yeah,
And
she's
that man that you brought in, I have a lot of respect for him.
okay. Good, good stuff. All right. Well, another fun session here today. I think we did some good stuff here today, Effie, and I want to thank our YouTube audience for coming in and joining us this morning. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, hit like and subscribe on our channel. You'll be notified of our upcoming live streams. We are live every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get to see us raw and unedited on Saturday mornings. But I'm going to go ahead and shut us down with a prayer. If everyone would join me, please. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Thank you for this gift of mediumship that you've given us and allow us to use this precious gift to help others who need your healing and love. Bless our friends and loved ones and protect them from sickness and harm. Bring joy into the lives of people who have sorrow, health into the lives of people who have illness, and abundance to the lives of people who have little. Thank you for the lessons that you've given us today, and help us to continue to build a relationship with you that is based on love and trust. And always, please help us to be the lights that change this world for the better. Amen. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks again.
Carol.
And,
Thanks,
hope to see,
everyone.
thanks for coming in this morning, and hope to see you next week.